Alright, so what I want to talk about in this video is the top 5 as they stand after all these European shows, and mainly just after Olympia. Starting with Andrew Jack here, I think we're all pretty much expecting Andrew to come in certainly a lot better than the rest of the competition here, but also pretty much on. I mean, this show was only 4 weeks at the Olympia. The last show we saw Andrew really off, almost losing to some guys that are around, I would say, Yoan's level. I would say Sauce is definitely more complete, but Yoan definitely has a higher ceiling, and he has a crazy X-frame, and Sauce is one of those smaller guys. So even if Andrew was significantly off here, which I think Andrew came in about as good as the Olympia, minus some lacking on the posing here and there, and maybe came in a little bit fuller. I know they said they wanted to try to come in and push the conditioning a little farther and see how that looked, but I'm not sure if they actually did that here. Regardless, I think he looks really good. I don't know if he is going to win the Olympia next year, or if these other guys are gonna keep continuing to get better just like him. But I think we can all say that this is the most striking Mr. Olympia-esque look that is in bodybuilding right now. And I think that if he can continue to get as better as he did here, I mean, I think he still needs some work on the hamstrings and just some posing things, but if he can, he'll be fighting for the Olympia again, and I think it's going to be really close. I think that Hadi could have looked better this year. I'm not sure where his trajectory is as far as his longevity in the sport. I think that Derek has found his blueprint is going to be really dangerous, and I think that Samson is probably going to be back on his same protocol, trying to get bigger, the one that he had with Milos, where he was on insulin and he wasn't, just taking a little bit of drugs like he started when he started working with America Health. So I think Andrew can get better and he can win, but if all these other guys come on, then it is going to be a little bit hard to say, because I know that the person I want to talk about here is Hadi Choopan. Honestly, I'm not sure where Hadi is going to go from here. I mean, we all saw he looked great at the Olympia. He looked, somewhat improved, somewhat different. I think one of his legs was a little bit smaller, and once you notice it, it is hard to look away from something like that. So I think that is hurting him. I think we all thought he was in good condition. I mean, he did beat Derek in the finals. We all thought he looked good, but I don't know, honestly, if Hadi's ever going to win the Olympia ever again. I mean, we look at what Andrew's looking like. We look at what what improvements he made this year. We're looking at what Samson, was prepared to do, which puts on some serious size. And I just don't know if Hadi is going to be able to hang if these other guys make the improvements that I think we know they can and have been doing. And as much as we love Hadi, he looks amazing. I feel like he may be slipping towards where Samson was placing, 4th, 5th place, somewhere around there next year. I mean, we have guys like Martin Fitzwater, Andrew Jack. They're just so dangerous, and I really don't know where that puts Hadi. I mean, Derek has found he's found his peak. He's full of condition everywhere else. He's not digging down in the water to try to get condition that he doesn't get anyways. I think he's very dangerous, and I hope that Hadi can come in better. I hope all these guys can, but we'll see. Now, this is a prime example of what I'm talking about. I mean, Martin is making massive improvements. I know that at the EVLS Prague show, he didn't beat on Samson, but regardless, on paper beating Samson and beating the Samson he did beat means a lot. I mean, you have to take into account Martin's 27 years old. He's in his, that was his 2nd Olympia. He's going to be extremely dangerous once he fills out this frame, I mean, we know that he can bring it. We've seen him off and percent once at Pittsburgh and a few times leading into his first Olympia, just not as hard, not as much lines in the legs that we want to see. I mean, Martin is coming, and he, I think, did make some improvements this year, and he did beat Samson Dauda. I think that Samson was in condition there and a little bit bigger, but he was also softer. Him beating Samson means that depending on how he comes, he can be battling with him and Hadi and Nick like he beat this year, and all of these guys, depending on how they come, can beat each other. So we'll see what improvements these guys will be able to make. We see Derek here. This was at the Olympia backstage. This is just a new Derek. I mean, he isn't as hard as he was in the front, but he was never that hard. And I think the amount of water that he was sucking out just to not even get really better condition, just a little harder, but in the process of losing his legs was definitely not worth it. I mean, we see here, it's a pretty dominant package he brought. Yeah, Hadi was on his tails, but this is a very improved Derek, and if Derek can actually put on more size from this, I think in the coming years it's going to be very hard to beat. Could be a dominant Mr. Olympia, but I don't know if he has the ceiling to grow like someone like Andrew does. Although Andrew is also older, Samson's also older, Hadi's getting older, and it makes you wonder, Martin and Derek, they're both really, really good guys that are young and improving, and it really makes you wonder where it's going to end up with Derek, who is going to be fighting with Derek in 5 years if he's still competing. If these other guys retire, I mean, they are getting older. So you have to wonder, will Derek at some point really be on top of the sport? I mean, he's only around, 30, 31. Nick's also that young. I know Nick will be in the top of the Olympia for a long time to come, but there's a lot of good guys that you can see out there getting better who could possibly be fighting for the Olympia title when these older guys start to move out of the sport. I think that these last couple years for Andrew, Hadi, and Derek, or Andrew, Hadi, and Samson are really important because these are the years. First of all, I mean, obviously these are some of their last few years they have to compete, but they're against Derek, who is competing rapidly and who's improving rapidly, and he's really young. So I don't know. These years definitely aren't gassed up enough by people. I think these are really competitive bodybuilding years. There's a lot of good athletes, and I don't think people really notice this enough. So I want to talk about Samson here because I think he is someone that we should obviously be talking about as far as the title picture for the Olympia and the top 5 scene, and really just the top scene in general coming into this new year and coming into the Arnold, and coming after all of the placings that we saw from these competitors at the Olympia. So Samson obviously didn't bring his best, but he's talking here how he's gonna start bringing the mass again, how the last 3 years he hasn't even been trying to grow. He's just been trying to bring a good, complete package to the stage, and I think obviously this year he tried to push the conditioning far too much. I think his issue previously was really just his condition. I mean, not his condition, the amount of water he was holding. So I think if he would have just continued to do what he was doing, I think he was in shape, but somehow dropped some of that water, I think he can definitely bring a better package without being smaller like that, because I mean, obviously he's going to have to drop a little bit of water, possibly, but he dropped, what did he say? I mean, he was on stage at 300 last year, and he was so much bigger, so I think, just drop a little bit of water possibly, not just so you don't look spilled over, and then take the amount of conditioning that he got in 2024, because he was able to win the Olympia with that. You're not going to win the Olympia with bad condition. A lot of people are saying that his career is done and all of this, but I think at the end of the day, Samson has been competing a lot for a good amount of years, and he is older, but you heard it himself, he hasn't been trying to get bigger for the last 2 years, and he's also been competing multiple times a year. So I think there's something to be said for that, and I think that this off season that he plans on having will be pretty major. If he wasn't even trying to grow these last few years, this would be pretty significant. So we'll see how he can come. I think while he was off, Andrew is still a lot more dangerous. He bought a really good package this year. So I think Samson and Andrew, I think they'll both be on with the crazy package next year. And then I think Derek has obviously found his blueprint. He's fooling now. He might not be the most conditioned, but obviously these three guys are going to be on, and I don't think that there's necessarily that type of guarantee as at the last year's Mr. Olympia. If you think about it, yes, it was a step. With all that said about all these guys, I think that this next year, while this year was extremely competitive and exciting, is going to be even better. I think that a lot of guys found things out about their peak this year, like Samson, Derek. I think Hadi can be better. I'm not sure if this year was something about his age showing that he's just on the decline or not, but I think Andrew's going to be very dangerous. And there's a lot of guys who weren't there last year, like Hunter Labrada, like guys like Rafael Brandao. There's going to be a lot of really good guys next year, and I think the top five will be really competitive, but also going down, it's going to be more and more competitive with each other, and it's just going to be all great guys. I'm just trying to think who's going to be in 7th place. It's going to be guys like Good Vito, and Good Vito's insane. Guys like Good